Here we are. Battlefield 6 has arrived, or at least the beta has. That is an enemy tank. Holy schmoly. Take cover. Have I got anything for it? I'm just using default loadout. I just wanted to get straight in. This is my very first match, so I don't know. Oh my god. I don't know much about what's going on, but I'm very excited about it. How do I mark? Oh, there he is. Oh, they did a bit of damage. Come on, boys. Someone jumped out. Get shredded, but... Oh! We need an engineer over here! In case you can't hear it, I am using War Tapes, VAL, I believe it is, in the audio settings, which is the extreme upon extreme War Tapes mode. Everything's very visceral, crunchy, loud. Should be really immersive, but... Oh, you almost got me. I am so... very happy with the time to kill in this game. It's exactly how it was in labs, at least to my memory. Today I just want to play through my first match, see how it goes. It's a little bit hectic, to be honest. It's all over the place. I'm using the assault class and the default. I think this is the ACR, I believe, which is the first gun you get given. We'll go through the loadout when I inevitably die some stage. Oh, the sound of War Tapes. Listen to that. Oh, it's so good. The sound is so good with War Tapes on. I mean, it's a little bit crazy. If your ears are sensitive, it's not for you, but I love it. Oh, my buddy needs help. I'm coming! I'm coming! No! Oh, I was coming. That was an enemy there, though. I'm low ammo. God damn. I need that. Oh, my God. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Ah! Oh, I actually died around the corner there. I feel like. Okay, so that was my very first life in Battlefield 6. Now, I was actually planning to show you the entire first match, but then I thought, you know what? In the editing suite, whilst I'm sitting here at the moment, I've got plenty of better and more enjoyable footage throughout the beta that I've captured in the last sort of 6 or 7 hours that I've been playing it, that I thought, you know what, I'd rather add some of that into the video. But first I want to get into what the main bulk of the video is about. Is this going to be the best Battlefield? What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the drawbacks? What do they need to change or fix before launch to make it as good as it can be? Just because I mentioned it in that first opening segment, what you were hearing was the audio mix of the War Tapes VAL, which is the very aggressive listening mode. What I'm going to do now is just put a side by side of the normal War Tapes, which is my audio mix of choice, and the default mix, so that you can hear the difference and maybe make up your mind as to what you want to run, rather than having to keep going back and forth yourself. But yeah, my preference is standard War Tapes. So hopefully that's helped you decide in what audio mix you prefer. So let's get into the main points of the video, the good and the bad of Battlefield 6 beta. I have to say that because this is an earlier build than what is going to be coming out in launch, obviously. They've already said there's loads of stuff that's different and stuff that's not included in the beta, which we'll get onto in just a moment. Now, I want to start firstly with something that maybe not many people have started with their sort of opinions on this game, the color palette. Most of the maps are okay, but on maps like Liberation Peak, for me, and I don't know if anyone else has felt this, but all the colors kind of just blend into one. It kind of hurts my eyes a little bit. It sounds really weird, but I find it quite difficult to spot who I'm shooting at. I find it hard to look at. It almost feels over sharpened. Oh, and just the colors, the colors are really quite bland on this map specifically. And I don't know what it is. I really can't put my finger on it. I just don't like how it looks. I've tried to change a lot of settings. I've turned my brightness up and down, sharpness up and down. I've changed my monitor settings. I've changed my NVIDIA control panel settings. I can't get it to look how I would like it to look. It doesn't feel clean, and I think that's just down to the color palette. So hopefully they do a bit of a, I don't know what it would be, a LUT update, I suppose, when they come to launch it, and it looks a bit cleaner, a bit less, yeah, washed out is probably the word I would use. I've had to use digital vibrance in the NVIDIA control panel just to really boost a bit of that color and vibrance into the game, to give it still looks gritty, but it looks nice at the same time. It's sort of a good balance. And whilst we're talking about Liberation Peak, it's probably a good point to talk about map sizes, which to me is the biggest drawback of Battlefield 6 so far. When you think Battlefield, you think large, epic fights and combat and vehicles and helicopters, planes, jets. You know, that's what you think about when you think about Battlefield. Well, at least I do, and I assume most of the old Battlefield heads that have played since the olden days, you know, 1942, for example, and Battlefield Vietnam on the CD-ROM. There are maps on those games that are 3 times the size of things like Liberation Peak, which is the biggest map in the beta. There's maps in Battlefield 3 and 4 which are a lot bigger. I'm thinking of things like Caspian Border or Strike at Karkin. You know, there's both in Battlefield 3, that is. These are maps that felt like a proper all-scale battle. My biggest concern right now with the maps in the game in the beta is there's no time to breathe. There is literally no time to even think about what you're going to do next. You capture a position, within 15 seconds you're in combat again. Now, if you're a Call of Duty player and you like that kind of rinse, repeat, quick death, quick life kind of gameplay, where you run to a position, you're straight into a fight, you might kill a couple of people, you might get a really good kill streak, or you might get bodied and spawn again and be back in the fight in 10 seconds. If that's the kind of gameplay you like, that's fair enough. I completely get that, but that's never been what Battlefield has been. Granted, Battlefield needed a bit of a change, something a bit more updated maybe, but that's not necessarily saying go against its roots. And for everything else that they've done with Battlefield 6 in regards to like the class system, it feels like they've tried to go back to what Battlefield used to be, what everyone fell in love with back in the older games, except for the map design choice. And I find that really odd, and I'm hoping it's just the beta maps, and when the full game launches there'll be a few maps that are a lot bigger and that are actually catered for a Battlefield audience. But it's hard to tell. Obviously there'll be DLC, there'll be a map, you know, with every season probably, or a couple hopefully, so we should get a few maps every few months would be really nice. So I'm sure there's options and ways they can bring back older maps. I mean, Operation Firestorm is obviously going to be in on day 1 on launch, and that's quite a big map, so that'd be quite fun from Battlefield 3. But I can't help but feel that this might be the way they're going with all the maps in the game, and I sincerely hope it's not. Operation Metro in Battlefield 3 was great. It had its place. It was good to have the smaller maps for that kind of engagement, and people love that. But that, just because people enjoy that map for that kind of gameplay doesn't mean every map should be catered for that, and vice versa. So I was shocked that we don't have a nice balance of maybe 2 very big maps and 2 very small maps, or even, you know, 1 small, 1 medium, 1 large, and then 1 that's a bit quirky or something. Now, obviously, we have the Portal coming out, so people can make their own maps, and there should hopefully be some cool maps in that we can play, and maybe that DICE will see and go, oh, actually, we'd love to make that an official map. So, you know, maybe there's going to be something along those lines that we see in the full game. I guess it's just we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, even in Liberation Peak, you take 1 position, and within seconds you're already in combat again. For some people that might be really fun, but for squad play it's nice to take a position and then have 10-15 seconds to say, where are we heading next? Let's go to Delta, let's go to Echo, let's move that way. And then you group together. If there's a vehicle available, you jump in it. If not, you run. But there's a bit of downtime before you get into your next fight. Even in those games, in Battlefield 3 and 4, even on those big maps, you would sometimes find yourself in some really, really big fights. And I think there needs to be a good balance. Having choke points is a great idea, but just make the maps larger. Give jets a way to fly from one side to the other and think about their ground targets. when I'm flying jets on Liberation Peak, I feel like I have milliseconds to think about where I'm going to attack before I have to pull up and fly away again to egress out of the area and come back at another sort of gun run. So yeah, that's my opinion. I think the maps are too small, and I really hope that that is not what's considered large in Battlefield 6, because if Liberation Peak is considered large in Battlefield 6, then we have a problem. So that's just my opinion, and I think it's echoed by quite a few Battlefield players from what I've seen, but I'm sure there's going to be people that feel the other way and love the constant combat. So maybe there needs to be a healthy balance in between, because I love the cinema, I love the action, but these maps just aren't it, in my opinion. Moving on from the maps, we have time to kill. Now, I played labs, I can talk about that now. I wasn't allowed to at the time, of course, but I played the labs test. The time to kill in that felt a bit quicker. It feels still quite good in this. I feel like maybe labs was a little bit too fast, so this is a nice balance. It feels quite good for the most part. My issue with the time to kill, or the TTK, in Battlefield 6 is it doesn't feel consistent. I don't know what that is. Don't know if that's a netcode issue, something they're going to have to work through, but it doesn't quite feel consistent. And my other problem is headshot bonuses. Now, there should be a much more impactful headshot bonus in Battlefield 6. Right now, it just does not feel impactful enough. Now, there are some ammo types that will make headshot bonuses more prevalent, especially for the support class, and I think that's good, and maybe that's why they haven't done it. But if I shoot someone in the head with a pistol 3 times, they should be dead. But I have had it many times in combat where I get the little headshot reticule to say that I've hit them in the head 2, maybe 3 times, even with my LMG, and they don't die. And it feels like if that's 3 body shots, fine. Like, yeah, they should probably survive that, because that would be a bit too close to the hardcore damage model if they were to die that quick. But if it's headshots, even if it's 1 to the body, 2 to the head, they should be gone. They should just be done. So I do think that time to kill needs to have a much bigger emphasis on headshot bonus. I think it should be 2-time damage if you get hit in the head, at the least, with any gun as well. You have it with snipers where it's a fatality, an instant kill. I'm not saying that it should be a 1-shot headshot for every gun, but realistically it should be double the damage that you do. So if you have a pistol and you put 2 in the chest and 1 in the head, or 2 in the chest, 2 in the head, they should be dead. And from my experience, that is not the case. Now, again, this could be netcode. I'm not saying that it's definitely a problem. I haven't been able to test with an enemy, and the targets in the firing range don't feel, again, consistent to what the gun performs out against other players that are moving around. But yes, I do think it's key that we focus on getting a headshot bonus that is actually significant and makes a difference, because right now it just feels like it doesn't, and it's inconsistent. That's just my personal feedback from what I felt having people survive many headshots throughout my experience in the beta. Moving on from that, we have the classes. They feel balanced, they feel fun, and they do complement each other. I've really enjoyed playing with my friends in this Battlefield game compared to maybe 2042, where I couldn't care less if I was playing with my squad or on my own, and that game was obviously a hot mess, so we can't really compare it to that. But this really feels good. They've really nailed the classes have a unique feel that is integral to the role of the team, just like they did in Battlefield 3 and 4 and Bad Company 2. I think they've really got it right, and I'm super happy about that. I love how the support class is now the medic and the ammo bearer, and that the boxes are combined. You don't have to have one of each. I hope it stays that way. I think it's perfect. Having just a resupply box rather than, oh, I bought ammo but not health, or I bought health and not ammo. That kind of sucked, especially in the older games where you just couldn't have both. Now, again, obviously they've taken that away from the assault class, so you used to have both if you had a full squad anyway. But giving it to the support, I think, is really good. It actually gives the support a really integral role, and more people will play that role, which is key. So you'll see more LMGs, more suppressive fire, and more sort of teamwork around that. I think that's great. And medics. Medics are doing medic things. It's really, really fun. I'm seeing people actually revive. I know there's a challenge at the moment, which are really cool, these beta challenges. But the medics are doing their part, and that feels fantastic. Obviously, the assault class is a shell of what it's going to be in the full game, because we're going to have things like the sledgehammer, we're going to have things like the assault ladders, so we can't really review the full extent of what the assault is going to offer just yet, but it will be a class to be reckoned with, and one that is definitely integral to having in your squad. Right now, it doesn't feel like it offers much to the squad gameplay, but it absolutely will, especially when the spawn beacons move over from recon to the assault class. I think that's going to be key to success in taking a position in things like rush and holding a position in things like conquest. So I think that's really good, and I like that if you do respawn as the owner of that recon beacon, or now to be known assault beacon, the beacon is destroyed and you have to place down a new one, so it's kind of a one-use thing, and they will have a limit of how many times it can be spawned on by your team. So it won't be overpowered or ridiculous, it will be balanced and feel good. It's more going to be a tip of the spear, put it down, hold position and survive, let your teammates spawn on it and push. I think it's going to be really, really good for gameplay. When it comes to locking weapons behind the classes, there is a game mode in the beta that already has that in place, and at the moment in the main game of the beta it is not the case, although they have said that they are going to be doing that at launch, so there will be class locked weapons, and I'm glad about that. At the moment, they have this system that I think they're testing for weapon specialists for the class, where you get a bonus if you use the weapon that you're supposed to be using. So assault rifles for assault, LMGs for support, etc, etc. And they offer different benefits like no sprint speed decrease if you use an LMG if you're the support class, things like that. Really good idea. I think they could be more severe. I think there could be more reasons to only use those weapons with those classes if they wanted to not lock the weapons behind the class. Making those specialists, bonuses a lot more significant will absolutely mean that people will still use those guns for that class without having to lock it if you didn't want to. So, just food for thought. There is potential there. I do like the way they thought about that. And then finally, the movement in the game, it feels okay. It feels good. It feels fluent. I've had some occasions of COD kiddies, as I like to call them, flopping around corners and trying to do drop shots and all that jazz. For the most part, it doesn't work because you have to land before you can shoot. Sometimes you get killed by someone doing something a bit annoying and you think, oh god, here we go. What happened to just Battlefield having a little bit of realism to it? But it doesn't feel too egregious or in your face. I do feel like it's a nice balance where sometimes the movement really comes into play and you slide into cover or you dive into cover and it feels great and it works. And sometimes someone flops around a corner and tries to kill you, and sometimes they get lucky, sometimes they don't. And yeah, it feels fine. Like, it can be annoying. I'm sure there'll be people that will exploit it as time goes on. But as of right now, I'm not bothered about it. I think the movement is nice. And if an old head like me is happy and someone new to the game is also happy because they can do what they want to do in regards to movement, then don't change it. I welcome new players, so if that makes them happy, that's fine. It feels good. No more needed to be said about that. And then finally, the vehicles, they feel pretty fun and balanced. I saw some people complaining about helicopters and the jets not feeling quite right, and I don't have enough experience in those vehicles. I mean, Battlefield 4 is probably the most I've spent in vehicles, especially the helicopters. I really enjoyed those in Battlefield 4. But outside of that, I haven't got tons of experience in the other games, especially in jets, to sit here and say that they're perfect. But I've been flying a lot of the jets and the helicopters in the beta. I've enjoyed it. It feels good. I don't really have too much bad things to say about it. The only thing I'd say is that I feel like you get shot down a little bit too easily, especially when you're shooting down another vehicle in the jet. You can one burst, well, not even one burst. It's like a few bullets and the helicopter's disabled, or the jet you're shooting's disabled if you're in a jet. And the Stingers, sometimes you pop a flare and you dodge the first missile, then the second one hits you and you die from that one missile, even though technically it's supposed to be 2 Stingers per kill. You get hit by one and you're dead regardless if you avoid the first one. I've had that a few times. I don't really understand it. Again, hoping it's just a beta bug, because you shouldn't be able to be shot down in one missile, although obviously if we're talking realism then maybe you should. But it takes 2 people with Stingers to aim up and shoot and you're dead, and it's hard to break the lock because they can lock on from quite far away. I actually, for the first time ever, I think Battlefield 2042 had a better Stinger system in it than what's in the Battlefield 6 beta. I felt like it was relatively hard to shoot down a plane in regards to having a stinger or two on station, because you couldn't lock from that far away. You had to be, the plane had to be somewhat close. I think they should probably stick with that. The range feels like you can lock on from like across the map almost, and it's a bit much. So yeah, jets feel great, but just need that extra bit of balance in regards to how far away you can lock onto them. Other than that, I would say Battlefield 6 could very well be the best Battlefield we've ever seen. There's absolutely no reason it couldn't be. It's a lot of fun. They've got the recipe, they've got all of the ingredients, they've just got to cook it in the right order and it could be perfect. It could be a great meal. Or they could forget a couple of ingredients and ruin the entire thing. That's going to be me. That is all I can say in regards to the Battlefield 6 beta right now. I will continue to make some Battlefield content on this channel if you enjoyed it. So please let me know in the comments below. Did you enjoy today's video? Would you like to see some Battlefield gameplay on the channel going forward? And if you did, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And to anyone from my Star Citizen subscriber base, do not fear. I'm still playing Star Citizen, still making content in Star Citizen. I just love Battlefield, and if this game's good, I'd love to dance between the two games on this channel, and maybe some other FPSs out there like Hunt Showdown and such. But we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. But until next time, I've been GFA. You've been amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.